Hello, everyone, and welcome to the big show. This is Investing and Trading Live, sponsored by Online Trading Academy. If you're a first time listener, thanks for stopping by. My name is Josh Lilquist, and we are happy to have you with us today. As always, I got the stock master in here, the mastermind of this whole operation, Mr. Al Connickson. How are you doing today, Mr.
Good.
Al?
I am feeling really good today, Josh. The weather is beautiful. We got a class going on, a great class here, some great people coming in. So I'm feeling good. How about you?
I'm doing really good. As my good friend once said, sun is shining, wind is blowing. What more can you ask for? And that's the great thing about the financial markets is the sun is always shining, the wind is always blowing, and it is always a great day in the financial markets. And that's going to be the topic here on the show here today is multi-directional trading and investing. So it's always a good day. You just want the markets to move. When we talk about the markets, that's all the markets, stocks, options, futures, Forex. We're going to talk about an investing class a little bit later that a lot of people will be coming into here at Online Trading Academy. We got a packed show here today, but before we do that, our sponsor, Online Trading Academy, 26 years teaching people just like you how to trade and invest. Whether you're brand new to the markets and don't know a stock from a rock, or you've been trading for 20, 30, 40, 50 years and looking for some consistency. That's what Online Trade Academy does. It teaches education and content and different strategies based on what your goal or objective is for that almighty dollar, right? So, Al, we have more talks about the debt ceiling this week. Do they continue to talk? Do they stall? Do they raise? What are they going to do with that, right? So we're going to talk about that a little bit here today, some possible outcomes or even some possible opportunities based on that decision. There's always an opportunity, as I mentioned earlier, as if the market does go up or if it drops because of that. There's recession talks if they do something there. So we'll talk about that. But Al, we had obviously some good moves in the markets this week. Markets are they broke through that little range that we talked about last week on the S&P 500. The Nasdaq does continue to show some strength here, so we're seeing those different correlations actually correlating again. The Dow, that one is really kind of a dog as well. I mean, that's really been range bound. It was a little bit weak earlier, but it's continuing that downtrend lightly, and which spells opportunity with options. Al, what's your take on the markets? Are we seeing some different stocks show some opportunities? And what's your take on the debt ceiling as well?
Well, there's a lot of questions there, but
Pick one and pick wisely.
we'll have to start with one because I can't talk out of both sides of my mouth at the same time. So what about the markets? Well, you mentioned the S&P being up a bit and the Nasdaq being up a bit. You know what? The truth is that there's only a small handful of stocks that are causing that to happen.
Yeah,
And we
Apple,
talked about that last
Meta.
week. Meta, Google,
Yep.
those are the stocks that have always kind of been the leaders, and that's what's happening right now. You know, if you look at the S&P 500, which is a cap-weighted index, but there's about 7 stocks that make up over a quarter of the holdings of the S&P 500, the value of the S&P 500, and over 50% of the NASDAQ. So those are the stocks that are moving. So people that have been selective, that have been able to identify where the right time to get into those stocks, those positions would have been, could have done extremely well. The S&P 500, again, it's cap weighted, but if you equally weight it, the S&P 500, it's up only about 1%, whereas the S&P 500 now is up over 9% for the year. So there are opportunities, but in this kind of market, the way that you really benefit from the market is to be selective. And being selective means being able to identify not just the right thing to invest in, whether it's a stock or one of the other assets that we'll be talking about, but when is the right time to do it? And that's what it always gets down to, the right price to pay to make sure that it's a good investment. And we'll talk more about those things as we go through the show here. But the debt ceiling, what's going to happen there? Well, regardless of what happens, it's going to make the market move. When they do come to some kind of a settlement, which is more than likely going to happen, that's going to have an impact on the market. What if they don't? That will have a big downward impact on the market. So you can say, well, it either is going to be good news or bad news. One of the things that we want our students to learn is just look at news as news, not good news or bad news. Bad news is only bad if you don't know how to take advantage of it. You know, all news, good or bad, results in opportunities, and opportunities don't just work in one direction. So the problem we're really facing as a country, we hate to bring up what people are going to assume is bad news, but again, it's just presenting opportunities in maybe in a different direction. But even when they do settle, when they do raise the debt limit, the problem is there probably isn't going to be a meaningful reduction in our debt. And that's a problem. When you have people like Ray Dalio, who started Bridgewater Associates, he's saying that this is not only is not sustainable, but it's going to result in possibly a disastrous financial collapse. Those are his words. That's his opinion. But we cannot keep doing this. When you spend more than you earn, you have an issue. And right now, the government is spending $4 for every $3 it brings in.
Wouldn't it be nice if we, as regular consumers, could raise our debt ceiling?
You try to do that. There is a place for people like that.
Is it called prison?
It's called prison, right? But the government's fine with it. And something happens to politicians when they go to Washington. They basically get concerned about being reelected, which in their mind probably means spending more money on their constituents. So
Yeah, exactly.
we have that issue there. But also, when the debt ceiling is raised, the Treasury is going to have to start to rebuild its coffers, and they're going to have to be selling treasuries to do that. It's going to take liquidity out of the market. Liquidity is what has driven the market since the recession in 2009. So there are things that are happening that are going to make the way you trade and the way you have relied on trading and investing before not work, or not work as well as it could. So one of the things that we do, we don't have a bias as to direction or what you trade. Our only concern is that you're successful regardless of what the market is doing.
Yeah, and that kind of goes back to what you were alluding to a little bit earlier. It's not just about the right thing to trade, but when to trade that or when to invest with that.
Exactly.
But it's both, right? So we talk a lot about the stock market. Well, there might be opportunities with other markets right now, whether the stock market goes up, down, crash, soar, it doesn't matter. But there's opportunities in the currency market, which is foreign exchange, the Forex market. There's opportunities in the futures market, and there's also opportunities in the options market. And we're going to continue to discuss and talk about some different techniques and concepts with those other markets here. But it's just all about having those opportunities, and that's what it all comes down to. And I talk a lot about the definition of poor, and it's actually not monetary. It's passing over opportunities regularly. Someone that came long before me once said that. So we have an opportunity for people to learn these skills and techniques and get started down that path that they have. And it's a free investing class that we do at Online Trading Academy, local here, right off 494 here in Bloomington. And these are classes where we've taught thousands, just like you, are many strategies which are designed to teach you to make smart investing decisions. So text the word investing right now to the number 210 for 2 seats for this class and a quick start kit to get started right away. Text the word investing to the number 210 for 2 seats for an investing class. When you do that, you're going to get a link that will help you register for the date that works the best for you. Coming up next, we're going to talk about income strategies, options, futures, Forex. It's a good day here today. Let's continue that discussion coming up next. We'll be right back.
So is